dad's dream. We always, I have a flag in my room. It's an Olympic flag.
So I saw you post a video on TikTok and Instagram. You were at a taco shop.
I'm gonna say that 100 million, boom, going a yacht in Monaco, in Monaco. I'm sorry, mom, I gotta say that, but that's what happened. That's what happened.
Wow, that's amazing. What would you tell him?
I would tell him.
Behind every success, there is a story. Behind every story, there is a person. And behind every person, there is a world of experiences. Today, we have a very special guest, the 3-0 boxing champion, Julius Ballo. How are you, Juju?
I'm doing good, man. It's a pleasure to be here. I appreciate you having me on.
Thank you for being here on BU Talks.
I like that. I like that intro right there.
You like the
I
intro,
that.
huh?
Yeah, it's like
Fire, huh?
It's like calming. I like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
How was your day today?
Day's going good, man. Day's going good. Had my first training session. It was at 8 a.m. That's with my coach Tez. I like to start off my day with him, and we did a strength and conditioning. So we had my first training there, and then I went home, rested. I had something to eat, and did a little cold plunge. I always like to do a cold plunge. It's like 45 degrees.
I see it on TikTok all the time. I'm like,
Freezing.
wow.
That has so many benefits to it. I do that, and then I had something to eat. I track all my food and my calories and all that, and then I went to gym again. I had my boxing trainers, Coach Berlin, Coach Robert, and then that was at 11:30. And then I went and got a haircut. Make sure I look good for the podcast.
Of course.
And then
looking amazing.
Yeah, and then I had a call before I headed over here, and then had the podcast. I'm happy to be here and to inspire the world.
Thank you for being here, Juju.
Definitely.
Now, before I start, I always like to know, who is Juju?
Who is Juju? I mean, I don't. That's for the world to find out. The Juju is Juju Ballo is a professional boxer. He's a professional boxer. He started at 3 years old. Had my first amateur fight at 8 years old, and I started competing at 8 years old. My dad brought me into the sport of boxing, and we started competing, traveling around the world, the country. I got my first national championship at 16 years old, and that's when I became on Team USA. I got on Team USA at 16 years old, and that's when I started to represent them internationally, internationally around like Ireland, England, Germany, across the world. It was a phenomenal experience, um, and Juju is a professional boxer now. After becoming after my amateur career, I ended it as number one pound for pound boxer. So there's 55,000 boxers in the country.
Mm-hmm.
I ended it off number one in amateur boxing, which is very rare. I don't want to sound like I'm bragging. It's hard to I feel like people say it like bragging, but I kind of not a lot of people know about this stuff, so I kind of want to make it known.
So Juju, what was your amateur record?
My amateur record, it was 215 fights and 15 losses.
Wow.
Yeah.
215 fights and 15 losses?
Yes.
That's something to be proud of.
Yes, it was a long, it was a long amateur career. It wouldn't have been possible without my coaches, my dad, of course, my dad, Yasser Ballo, and my head coach Berlin Kearney, my assistant coach Robert Garcia, and my strength and conditioning coach, Coach Tez. They helped me make that happen, and also the coaching at the Team USA, all the staff there. It's a teamwork. People think boxing is like you and you only. You know what I mean? In the ring, it's me. It is me. But it takes a team to put it all together and to bring it to life.
to train you
Yeah.
to kind of shape you into the person that you are today.
Exactly. Exactly. So yeah, my amateur record was 215 wins and 15
That's
losses. Yeah.
amazing. And your
Yeah.
professional record is 3-0 right now.
3-0.
About to
Yeah.
be 4-0, huh?
Yeah. I had my first fight at the Madison Square Garden in New York. It was a phenomenal
We're gonna get to that
first fight. Yeah.
Madison Square Garden fight
And
real
then my
quick.
second fight, it was in Hollywood. And third fight, we brought it back to San Diego.
San Diego.
You
That
know,
was an amazing fight, by the way. 5,000 people was amazing.
it was, man, it was a dream come true. You know, it took a lot of work. It definitely took a lot of work to make that happen. It was a whole team. You know, my
100%.
you know, the whole promotion. You know, we had a lot of people involved. You know, I would like to thank them also. Many people were involved to make that happen, and without them, it wouldn't have been possible.
Now, Juju, you mentioned your dad a lot.
Hmm.
Um, and was he the one that got you into the world of boxing?
Yeah, yeah. He told me he took me to the gym at the age of 3 weeks old. He
Three
told me
weeks old.
it was like 3 weeks, 3 months, something like that. He told me he took me to the gym at that age just to smell it. He said
So that was it.
he
At
j-
3 weeks
I
old.
think it was, yeah, 3 weeks just to smell it. I didn't even train. He said I want you to just go there, and he wanted me to smell the sweat and all that stuff in the gym. My mom wasn't happy. I'll tell you that. My mom was like, "Bro, it's not good for the baby to take. That they're it's easy to get an infection at that
Of
age. Your
course.
body can't fight it. So my
So
dad brought me to the sport. Because he wanted to be a boxer. He wanted to be a boxer, but his family didn't support him. They either told him, you either go to boxing by yourself, or you're gonna come to the family businesses, and with us. And he went to boxing actually for like 2 weeks by himself, but then he didn't like it. His family wasn't like supporting him.
supportive it.
You know what I mean? So he ended up going back to family businesses, and he told his dad. He said, listen, I'm gonna come to family businesses. He said, I'm gonna do two things. He said, I'm gonna make you so much money, you're not gonna have to worry about money ever again. That's one. And he said that number two, he said, I'm gonna have a kid. I'm gonna have a boy, and I'm gonna put him into boxing. I'm gonna make him a world champion.
So you at 3 weeks old. That was your destiny. You were gonna become a professional boxer. That was it.
Bro, I feel like I woke up and I was a boxer. Literally, I don't even like. I feel like I was like spawned into this earth and I was a boxer. You know what I mean?
So
Like,
no matter what it was, you're gonna become a professional boxer, and you
you know
actually
when you
did.
wake up during, like, when you're sleeping and you just wake up and like you just start walking.
Yeah, sleepwalking
No. Like in general,
in
every
general.
day, like you just wake up, like, and you boom, you're up and you just go
You're
to
ready.
your day. That's how I feel like boxing was for me, because I never like, you don't remember learning how to walk.
No, you don't.
You don't, right? That's what I feel like my dad wanted to do. I feel like he wanted to make boxing like like a natural thing. It's
Mhm.
like your body has become muscle memory,
Yeah.
and I feel like it worked.
I mean,
Yeah,
3-0 in the professional world. I mean,
yeah,
yes, it worked.
definitely.
Um,
And it's just the beginning
it's
too.
the beginning.
And just the
100%.
beginning. This is 3-0 is great, but I'm not here for 3-0. I'm here to become world champion.
100%.
That's my goal.
So, growing up as a first generation Iraqi American,
Yes.
uh, how did that cultural background help you?
Yeah, so my dad's, I'm born here in San Diego, but my dad was born in Iraq, Baghdad. So he's Al Khushnaya, and my mom is Zakhunaya. They're both born there in Iraq. So I got that Chaldean blood in me. I got that Iraqi blood in me.
That was a good mix, huh?
Yeah, it's definitely a good mix. They say I get the smarts from my dad and I get the strength from my mom. So it's a great mix. I love my parents. Without them, I wouldn't be where I'm at today without them. But the Chaldean and Middle Eastern people, I would be nothing without them. And I wanna, I really do want to represent them to my max potential. And I feel like they are backing me, and I really appreciate them.
Now, Juju, was there a moment in your early teenage years where you were like, I don't want to become a boxer no more. I'm done
Mm,
with the sport.
yeah.
Done.
You know, is it wasn't. It was more of like when I was like, a younger. I feel like when I was like 9, 10 years old, it wasn't. It was a little different. It was something that my cousins weren't doing, my friends weren't doing. Used to be times where I was at family gatherings, and I would have to go to the gym and leave a party. My dad said we gotta go train. I wasn't happy as a kid. You're like, bro, what am I doing? Like, why are we? why are we going to the gym? Why are we doing this right now? All my friends are having fun and doing whatever they want to do with their friends. Why can't I do that? So there was times like that where it made me not want to do it. But my dad was always disciplined hard on me, and he made me disciplined about it. And he always told me that it would pay off. Like one day you're gonna thank me. He always told me, one day you're gonna thank me. One day you're gonna thank me. You don't realize what I'm doing now, but one day you're gonna thank me. And once I started to win, that's when I knew what was going on, and I started to get recognized. Started to get recognized. When I would go to tournaments and I would perform and I would win like a big tournament. Obviously I won the national championships. Um, these things is when I realized, like, okay, like this is why I didn't stop. This is why I didn't quit as a kid. But there was times when my dad asked me, he said, "Is this what you want to do?" I remember I was like 15. I was like 15, 16. And my dad asked me, because when you're 16 you go to the elite category.
Okay.
Elite is when you can compete to any age. So I could fight somebody 35 years old.
Wow.
So before I did that step, my dad asked me, he said, "Listen, do you really want to do this?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "I think God put me on this earth to become a boxer and to spread his word through boxing." So I told him, "Yeah, I want to do it." And he said, "Okay, well, if you're going to do it 100%. Do it 100%. He said, whatever you do in life, do 100%, but this is not a joke. Boxing's, you can't be 1 foot in, 1 foot out. You got to be 100% in, because you can get knocked out. People died in the sport, so it's not something you could take lightly. So yeah, we took it from there, and here we are.
So, did you ever feel like it was your dad's dream and not yours? Did you
Oh,
did did you ever like sit down and say, "I wish I became a MMA fighter," or
mhm,
"I wish I became a business owner," or "I wish
mhm.
I became"? Do you ever get those thoughts?
It definitely was his dream, because his whole thing was, he wanted to live his dream, through me,
Yeah.
and as a young man, as a young kid, I was. He told me that. He told me, he said, I want to live my dream through you. But what's your job as a son? Your job as a son is, to make your 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 family happy. There was two choices I could have went. I could have went to, be a regular person, go work 9 to 5, or do I want to become a superstar? Do I want to become a superstar and become champion of the world? Become successful in doing my own thing, and I have the support of my dad, I have support of my family, and I get to have a platform to speak for myself, and to speak about God, and to represent something different, and to inspire people to do great things in their life. You know what I mean? So that's why it was my dad's dream to do this, but it also became something that I felt I belonged to, and something that I feel that God did on purpose, and God really is going to use me to spread love, and to spread positivity and great energy into the world.
Juju, you became the number one pound pound for pound fighter, right?
Yeah,
How did that success? How did you feel emotionally?
it was. I remember I was on the way to the gym, and the rankings came out, and one of my friends said it to me. He said, "Bro, look at the new rankings." And then I saw my name like on top. It said the number one pound for pound. I wish I had my phone. I'll show you. It says number one pound for pound, and then there's out of 55,000. I was just like, wow, this is what I dreamed of doing. That was right after I won the Golden Gloves, 2024, I believe. 2024, I won the national Golden Gloves,
Hmm.
and that's when I got that ranking. So I feel like that right there was just a blessing, because it was a blessing of all the hard work not only I did, but my whole team, like my coaches that I named, Berlin, Robert, Tez, my dad. um, that was just like a reward of all the work we have done and what we did to get to that point. That just shows to the world, like, where we belong. And that was the start, because that's when I got a call from Jake Paul's promotions, top rank promotions. Top rank is very, very big in boxing. They're the people who signed Muhammad Ali, Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao, um, all the greats, and they called me and they wanted to sign me. So that was that when I became number one pound for pound. That's when they all called me. They wanted to sign me professional. That's when the whole thing started.
So, when you saw your name number one,
Yeah,
what was going through your mind?
I was happy, but at the same time, it's like I was. That's what I knew. I knew I was number one. I wasn't something I was like surprised about. I was thankful for it, of course, but I knew that's where I knew that's where I belonged. It wasn't something that I didn't expect. I had trained so hard and I sacrificed so much, and I was till this day I still am. I sacrificed a lot and I'm disciplined. So this is what I do it for. I do it to be number one, and I don't want to be number two or number three.
You're always going to shoot for number one, huh?
Always gonna shoot for number one. You know, my dad always told me, you do something, you do it 100%, and he said to do it, be the best.
Juju, was there a specific fight or a low point in your amateur career that truly broke you or questioned if you were meant to be a boxer?
Man, many many experiences, many experiences that I felt that. I feel like the number one thing was before the 2024 Olympic Games. I I was I was the number two. I was number two fighter to go to the Olympic Games. There was somebody ahead of me, and I spoke to the people, the Team USA. I said, hey, I want this seat. I want to go to the Olympics, and I want to be the Olympian for 2024. And they said, okay, well, you have to be the number one guy, and you have to go to, well, you have to be number one guy, and then you have to go to the national championships, and you win that, and then you're the you're the Olympian. Well, we will take you. So guess what I did? I went, I trained, I did all my studying, and the time came around. It was a year before the Olympic Games. I won the national championships, and I beat the number one guy, and he was the world champion at the time. He had won the world championships, and I beat him fresh off the world championships. And then we went back to the team and we said, hey, we beat your number one guy. We won the national championships. We said we get the ticket, right? They did a whole groups discussion, a whole meeting about who they're gonna take, and they ended up still taking him. And that moment right there, I was like, wow, like something's not right. I said, man, I said, God, like why? Like what's going on? And it was a big dream of mine, the Olympics. My dream, my dad's dream. We always, I have a flag in my room. It's an Olympic flag. Um, it's always been a dream of mine to go to the Olympics, but they did that, and I feel like they robbed me of my dream. So that was a really big moment for me. That I feel like questioned. I went through a big. The people who really know me know what I went through. It was a hard time. I didn't know what to do. That was my whole. I feel like I went downhill, but that's when I figured out that this is not going to be easy. So that's when I got back to training. I went back to the gym and I figured out what I needed to do. I went and I competed again. I won the national Golden Gloves, and then that's when I became the number one pound for pound, and that's when I started getting all the offers to turn pro. And I told my dad, I said, I think God did this because I didn't get that spot, but it lit a fire in me, that fire, and I think that fire was to become world champion in pro boxing. Because
I think that fueled you
that
to.
fueled me to want to become world champion because I'm still not satisfied. I didn't get that chance. So I think that right there lit a flame for me to be hungry for the world championship for pro boxing.
Do you think the Olympians regret not taking you now?
Definitely, definitely. I definitely think that, and I'm gonna do my job to make sure they regret that. I'm gonna continue to be successful. I'm gonna continue to be myself. I'm gonna continue to win. That way, you know, um, they realize what they had. But hey, everything happens for a reason, right? Everything
Yes,
happens for a reason,
100%.
and I think God did that on purpose, and I feel you know, like I said, everything happens for a reason. So I'm glad that happened. I'm glad. I really am because it adds more to my story.
100%.
Yeah.
Did you did you ever feel like that opportunity went to him because he paid or he did something that maybe he was a better fighter? Because if you think about it, you beat him right after. Maybe they thought he just got off a world champion and now,
Hmm.
he took another fight real quick.
Yeah.
We should give it to him because he just won a world champion.
You know, they could have thought like that, right? But I beat him after he won the world championships. You know what I mean? So if you beat the world champion, what happened? That means you're the champion,
You're the champion.
right? So he went to the world championships, he won. I fought him after, and I beat him. And I still went after that. I still went to the national championships, and I won that. So that should be double stamped,
That was
double stamped to take him. And they still came to the conclusion that they want to take him. You know, but no disrespect to nobody. That's what happened. That's what God wanted. To happen. But listen, I did my job to make that happen, and sometimes it's in other people's hands. But 2028 Olympics is around the corner,
do you think
and you know there's one thing about the USA. You can be pro and amateur. In other countries, like Iraq or like Saudi Arabia, you're able to do both.
mhm.
So 2028,
would you
we'll see what
ever
God has in store.
would you ever represent the Iraqi national team?
I would love to talk with them. I think we should definitely speak about it and see what they have to offer.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Now, Juju, walk us through your pro debut at Madison Square Garden.
Hmm.
I want that was your I think your second fight
Yeah.
in
That was my first fight.
that was
First
your first
first
fight.
professional fight. Yeah.
That was your first professional fight in front of how many people was there?
Man, thousands in attendance, but millions watching around the world.
What were you feeling?
I w- you know I was a little nervous. I would say, being um like in amateurs is different. I fought like high level competitions, like national championships, but being at like an iconic arena like that in New York, having it was broadcasted on ESPN. It was definitely a little nervous for sure. But I was excited, to showcase my skills. I really wanted to showcase my skills and show the world uh, the Juju show. You know,
The Juju
the
show.
Juju show exactly. So it was definitely exciting. It was definitely exciting.
So now, Juju, you're at 3-0.
Yes.
What's happening in your life and your career? What's next?
It's going great. It's going great. My first fight was at Madison Square Garden. My second fight was in Hollywood, and my third fight was here in San Diego. That my fight in San Diego was very very important to me. We had my first time fighting here in San Diego, headlined with my cousin Johnny, and being the main event in front of 5,000 people,
It's
it was
huge.
different. It was different. Only my third fight. People usually do that when they become like world champion or when they have like 20 fights. So being 3-0, well, I was 2-0 actually. I was 2-0 going into my third fight. Walking out and seeing like 5,000 people. That's in attendance. Imagine people watching around the world on TV and social media. It was honestly it was crazy. It was sick. I liked it. It's something that like I wish everybody could experience. I wish I wore like a VR glasses or something, and people could all experience that.
I saw when the last bell rang
Yeah,
and I think it was your dad that picked you up
yeah.
and you were on your dad's shoulders and you were walking around the
Walking
ring.
around, yeah.
That
You were
experience,
there,
yeah,
right?
I was there.
How'd you like being there?
That was an amazing experience. It was like seeing you kind of me being Chaldean, that kind of made me proud. When you
Yeah,
won, I felt like I was sharing the victory with you
everybody won.
at the
Yeah.
same time.
See,
And
that's what I like though. I want that to I want that's our culture. I have the Middle Eastern blood. I want Chaldean blood, the Middle Eastern blood. I want people to know that, and I want them to. We all have to come together and represent each other. I'm representing them also. You know what I
100%.
mean? So having the Chaldean and Middle Eastern people with me is a blessing. And all I want to do is continue to win for them and to show the world how great we are. You know what I mean?
100%.
So that's my plan, and now we're gonna do it together.
Now, Juju, what is success to you?
Success. It depends. It depends it depends exactly what you're talking about. But I think success is depending on the person, right? Because some people could determine success off of money, could determine success off of
Fame.
fame or goals. I think success is being a great human being. Personally, I think if you're a great human being, um, someone that is successful in life, yeah, it could be money, could be fame, could be world champion. Um, that is successful things, but I feel like being a great human being and treating others, um, how you want to be treated. I feel like that's number one for me. That's number one, and having a having a clear mind.
Do you think you're successful?
I think I think I'm doing a good job. I think I'm doing a good job. I'm I'm gonna leave that to the people. I'm gonna let the people uh, think if I'm successful or not. Everybody got their own opinion, but I'm gonna say I'm successful when I become world champion.
And do you think that's going to happen soon?
I think listening to what my managers or my team is saying, I think we're in line for it in these next 2 years.
Next 2 years.
Yeah, these next 2 years, um, I feel like we're gonna make it happen, and I'm excited. I put a smile on my face.
Is the
Yeah.
fourth one? When is the fourth fight?
We haven't announced it yet. It's actually that's what my call was about today. Um, I can't announce it yet. I can't announce it yet, but
A sneak peek? Something?
I'm a I'm gonna say this: Chaldean people, Middle Eastern people, be ready. That's all I'm gonna say.
So I'm thinking Middle Eastern, Detroit. Is the city of Detroit gonna get a boxing match?
The announcement's coming very soon. Announcement coming very soon, but I'll say yeah. Everybody in Detroit, be ready.
Wow. We
Yeah.
heard it first on BU Talks.
Yes, definitely. If I'm announcing, I'm gonna have to announce it here, right? Here at the Chaldean Talk, So
Perfect, amazing.
yeah.
Juju, what is the deepest fear you face in boxing?
Deepest fear? I always said I always said I'm allergic to losing. Losing, I'm allergic to it. Even we always joke around about it. Like when we go to a restaurant, they say like, is anybody allergic to anything? And this guy says like peanuts. This guy says like fish or something. I'm just like, yeah, I'm allergic to losing, and everybody starts laughing. You know what I mean? It's just like a joke, but I wouldn't say it's a deep like fear. It's not like a fear of mine. Something that I wouldn't want to happen, but um, I'm not fearful of it. I work so hard. I'm so I'm disciplined and I focus on my craft. I don't want to lose. It's something I don't want to do. I always want to win. I want to focus on winning. Same thing with you guys, right? Everybody in life, when they do something with all their passion and when they focus on their life and they focus on their job, they don't want to fail. They don't want to lose. So that's one thing I don't want to happen. I want to continue to win, but listen, it's life, right? Anything can happen. People lose, people get knocked out, but that shows your character to be able to do that, to go through that, a loss or a learning lesson, and to use that and to learn from your mistakes and not let it happen again. So some people do go through it, but like I said, you got to figure out a way to bounce back and get back to on track.
What will happen if you lose? Will you give up?
Give up. I think if I lose, it would turn me into a monster. I think it would make me even go to the next level.
How
You know,
so?
I don't even know because I'm going crazy right now. I don't even know. Yeah, I don't know what kind of level, but I feel like my whole team when we would like just go crazy. But um, we take it very seriously. It's like a business for me. Would you ever want your business to fail?
No?
Exactly. So this is my business. I don't want business to fail. But it's part of the sport. It's part of the sport. People get hurt. People get knocked out. People lose. but I'm gonna do my job to continue to stay smart. And people do want to see me lose. There's people out there that want to see me lose, and they want me to get hurt. People are not a fan of me, but
Why do
I'm
you think that?
I don't know. Yeah, it just some people, like everybody in life, people always got their opinions on who they like, who they don't like. But listen, I like it because all attention is good attention. They
100%.
gonna love you, they gonna hate you, but end of the day they're gonna watch, right?
So, a lot of people have said that you come from a very rich family,
Mm-hmm.
and they say that you have gotten everything that you wanted through the money that you have.
Yes.
What do you say to those people?
Listen, you know, this is something that we've been going through since I was an amateur fighter. People think that my dad paid for all the judges and paid for um me to become national champion. Like, how is that even possible? And they think me competing in national championships, my dad paid the judges for me to win. Then we go to international, Colombia. I've been to Colombia, Ireland, um, all around the country, Mexico. How is my dad gonna pay the judges there too? You know what I mean? It doesn't make sense. Same thing with my last fight. People are saying, oh, like 5,000 tickets were sold. Or how many did Juju's dad buy? It's like, what? Like, put some respect. Like, put some respect on my name. It's like, and not only my name, but like my team's name and the work that was put in to make this happen.
Yeah, you've worked hard. You've
It's insane when people say that. But you know what? This is life, right? People. That's the same people sitting on the couch eating Doritos and scrolling on TikTok or something. You know what I mean? So they're all gonna have an opinion to say, but I like it because when people are hating on you, that means
you're doing
you're
something
doing
right.
something right. Haters truly are my motivators. Truly, I love when people hate on me because it's a motivation for me to prove them wrong.
That kind of it gives you a little bit like I would say like
Exactly.
cockiness. Like
It does.
you didn't believe in me, but look at me now.
Exactly. Like anything in life, someone doesn't believe that you're gonna make something happen, you wanna prove it to them. So keep hating on me, man. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you guys what's up. Keep doubting me. Keep thinking that everything is paid for, because that world championship ain't gonna be paid for. I'll tell you that, right?
100%.
Yeah.
So Juju, so like for me, like when I was growing up, football was it healed me from a lot.
Yeah.
I went through a lot as a kid. I was obese. I was, I had
You
I was
really?
300 pounds.
You look great, brother.
Thank you, brother.
Oh, yeah, that's crazy.
I appreciate it. So
How many
like
pounds were you?
300.
300
Yeah,
pounds?
yeah.
Were you like 140, 150?
I'm 150 now.
Wow.
Crazy transportation, I know.
Wow. That's well, congrats, bro. That's not easy.
But we're not talking about me. We're talking about you.
But that's still inspiring for the world.
That is. Thank you. I appreciate it. It was it
Yeah.
was it was a long journey for sure.
Yeah.
But like for me, football healed me.
Okay.
That was my sport to go. That was whenever I had problems at home or I was gonna argue with my mom and dad or when they didn't want to do something for me, I would
Hmm.
go to football.
Yeah.
How does boxing do that for you?
There's been days where I would wake up and I didn't feel like training. I didn't have the motivation um to train, but I didn't have the motivation even about like the life, and I was just like tired. You know what I mean? Like one of those days. But when I would wake up and I would jump in my cold plunge, I would have a healthy meal. I go to the gym and I would train. I have my coaches there to teaching me stuff. This would make me feel better. This would make me you know motivate me to become a better person, and it has me focused on something. You know what I mean? People wake up sometimes in their day, they don't know why they're here on earth. They don't know what to do with their life. So it's a blessing for me to have something to focus on and have a motivation. You know what I mean? So that's what boxing does for me. It gives me a purpose, and it's really I really like who I am. It's part of me. So that's what boxing does for me. And it's a blessing to have that.
So I saw you post a video on TikTok and Instagram.
Uh-huh.
Um, you were at a you were at a taco shop,
Yes.
the taco shop one.
El Pueblo Mexican
El
food?
Pablo Mexican
Yeah,
food.
yeah. That's our family business.
That's your
Yes.
family business.
Ballo owned, yes.
So how does that family business transfer into your professional career.
What do you mean by that?
What I mean by that is, does that family business support you in your professional career?
Well, the El Pueblo Mexican food was started by my dad. It was he started his first location. A very very small location. It was 650 square feet, I believe, or around that area. And now that was our first location. Now we just opened our second location was in Carlsbad here in San Diego. Third one was in Del Mar. Fourth one was in Carmel Valley, and now our fifth one is in La Jolla, Pearl Street. So that business is something that my dad started, and my brother, is really really heavily is invested, himself into that, and is following my dad's footsteps. But that business in my boxing career are totally different things. Yeah.
Will you take over one day?
Yeah, I mean, my brother and I, my family, we're all invested into the business, and that's what my dad has started, and definitely we're gonna take that to the next level also. But my dad's only 46 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, he's 46 years old. He's not.
How old is your mom?
Mom same age. Yeah, mom same age.
And you're 23.
I'm 23.
So they got married when they were 16.
No, they got married when they were 21, I think. They had me when I was 22. Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
fast.
Yeah.
Time flies.
Yeah, it really does. So my dad's young, man. My dad's young. He's not. I don't think he's gonna retire ever.
He's not gonna retire.
Yeah, I don't think he'll ever retire. But yeah, the restaurants will definitely take it over. That's my goal is to retire my dad through boxing. Not even through our businesses. I want to let my dad. One day I'm gonna write him a $100 million check. I'm gonna say, Dad, 100 million, boom, go on a yacht in Monaco, Greece, in Monaco. Go enjoy your life, you and mom.
We got to be invited too, right?
Everybody's coming. Everybody, come on.
All the fans.
You got the yacht fit on right now. Look at your fit. That's a perfect yacht fit right there, right?
I know, right?
Yeah, that's
The white with the black.
Oh, the black. Look at you.
So, looking back at the 3-year-old kid who started this
Yes.
dream,
Uh-huh.
what would you tell him?
I would tell him, keep going, keep going, keep listening to dad. Um, it's all gonna work out. Some days you don't want to leave Mama Latifa's house, my grandma. You don't want to leave her house and leave all the cousins swimming in the pool, but it's all gonna be worth it. It's all gonna be worth it. Keep training. You might not know why or how, but keep going. That's for anybody in the world. When you do something, you might not believe or know or why you're doing something, but if you continue to do it, you give it your 100%, your passion, anything is possible, and it'll all work out.
Juju, what have you learned about yourself?
Boxing,
Just in life in
life.
general, growing up.
I would say what I learned about myself, obviously a lot. What I learned about myself, man, I learned
Get you
that,
thinking a little bit.
yeah, it's a lot of things. Especially through boxing. Boxing teaches you a lot of things. To keep your hands up. That means in life you always gotta keep your hands up. You gotta box. You gotta slip the punches. Like when life throws something at you, you gotta move out the way. Don't let things hit you. Don't let keep the hands up. Keep slipping the punches. These boxing terms is the same thing relates to life. You know what I mean? When you get knocked down, get back up. You know what I mean? It's boxing. When you get knocked down, get back up. Same thing with life. When life knocks you down, you gotta get back up. So what I learned about myself is, anything you do in life, you have to be consistent. You have to be consistent every day, and you have to focus on what you're doing. And if whatever you're doing, do it 100%. That's what I've learned. When you be focused, consistent, and when you do something, do it 100%. I feel like if you do that, you'll be successful, and that's what I've learned. Also, be humble. You really got to be humble, and you got to appreciate what you have, because one day you could have something,
And the next day is gone.
and the next day it's gone, and you don't realize what you have until you lose it.
Some
So that's one thing I've learned about myself, to appreciate everything, and also also God's one of my biggest things. And sometimes I will lack, like I need more work on it, but like I feel like when I'm not reading the Bible, I feel like my life, like,
slips away.
yeah, slips away, or like doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
It's like doesn't feel like complete. But once I start to read the Bible, and once I start, to go to church, and to, I follow a plan every day. I Some days I miss, sorry, but I I try my best to stay locked in onto it. But I have a plan where I read the Bible every day. It's like through like an app. I
The
read,
Bible app.
yeah, Bible app, yeah, exactly. But what I've learned about myself is really staying close to God.
Yeah,
You,
without him, we.
we wouldn't have nothing. We wouldn't be here, and that's really important to me. I realize that staying close to God is most important.
Now, a lot of young kids nowadays are looking up to you and Johnny. I
Yeah,
think you guys are the biggest motivators in the Chaldean community with the kids.
yeah,
What do you want to tell them?
man, it's um,
They're gonna probably be watching this,
yeah,
freaking out.
yeah, definitely. To all the kids that are watching, that are watching me and my journey. Number one is I appreciate it. I appreciate you guys watching, because without you guys, I'm nothing. Without my supporters, I'm nothing. I would say keep doing what you love to do. Do what you love to do, and and follow God. Work hard, be consistent, and give it your all. Give it your all, and listen to your parents, because your parents want you to be successful. So if someone wants to see you successful, it's your parents. So make sure you listen to your parents, even though sometimes you might not think they're right. But always listen to them, and keep God close. Work hard, and it's all gonna come together, and it's all gonna be okay.
So, if you can go back to one moment in your journey,
Mhm.
it could be the highest moment or the lowest moment.
Mhm.
What would it be and why?
Ooh, that's a good question. I'm fresh off my third fight. That was a big fight. I might have to go back a couple months. 1 month ago. But I don't know. That's a good question. Ooh, you know what? I know the answer. I'll go back to that day my dad took me to the gym when I was 3 weeks old.
How do you remember that?
I would go back. I don't remember. That's why I would go back. I don't remember the day. That's why I would want to go back, and I would want to see, like, how it was. I'd want to see, like,
His vision.
how I started, how he was. Because people, like, they walk into a job, their first job, they're like they remember their first day walking into a job. You know what I mean? You're like a fresh employee. You're just starting something. I never had that. I never had like I never had remembrance of my first day boxing. So I'd go back to that. I'd want to see, like, my first day.
Was there ever videos of like
No,
that
like that.
that day?
You know what? I think there was, and I'm sorry I have to say this, mom, but there was a video, and she dropped the camera. Like,
No,
my dad recorded it, and the camera, and she lost the footage.
no.
Really, I'm sorry, mom. I gotta say that, but that's what happened. That's what
Oh
happened.
wow, that's
But
amazing.
that's the day I'll go back to, bro. I think I would want to see the first day I ever started.
Okay, thank you for being here today, Juju.
Of course,
Is there
of
something that
course.
you want to tell people?
It was a pleasure having me on. I appreciate you guys having me on. It's a pleasure. One thing I would like to say to the people, I would say I would say, you know, for the people going through tough times, keep going. Keep going, because, things do get tough, but you always got to remember why you're doing it, and who you're doing it for. Keep going, keep God close, and give it all you got. And I promise you, if you do that, it'll all work out.